Hello and welcome to the When We Cry Umineko Book Club podcast, episode 7. We will be covering the later half of episode 2. My name is Lorenzo. I will be your host.
I'm Des.
I am the headless horse scam.
Hello, this is Mushroom.
Hello, I'm Yensid. I'm joining us for the first time without even rereading it because why not?
Yeah, we have a full house, a very full house here. But we're going to go do it because this is where the story starts getting meaty.
We have like an entire Twilight murder list of people.
Yeah.
Oh my God, we need one more. Who'd be a 6?
Ah, shit. Okay, let's invite the bot.
Yeah.
No, hell
What's
no.
our bot's name? Genji?
We have a music player bot that we just renamed to Genji in the server.
I don't want to hear about his day. I want to hear about your days. Happy New Year, everybody.
Oh, right.
How's 2021 treating you? How's everything going so far?
Well, so far my house ran out of water, and then we got a flood. Hey, isn't that ironic?
They were it was storing up all the water in its cheeks for you, just for this special moment, you know? Well, I mean, I hope your house is okay. Is, your furniture fine, more or less?
Yeah, it is.
All right, chill. All right, well, everything from this point on is just going to be a positive, you know? So you don't have to worry about anything worse than the flood in your house, hopefully.
I hope so.
Yeah. Like the flood from Halo. Ha!
Disgusting.
Funny joke.
How about you, Horse? How's your 2021 been going, even though it's 3 days in?
I've been playing a lot of Fire Emblem Three Houses.
God, kill me.
I wanted to play it, and I've been playing it. I have fun with it, but the story is so dumb, and it's just there are things that make me so mad about it, but I just keep playing.
Of course, how many hours do you have in it right now?
I think I have 25.
Only 25 hours? Shut up.
How many do you have, Mushroom?
I have 140.
Do you know how many I have?
How?
I know how many hours do you have, Des. You have 300. You have 20 hours shy of a 300, I think.
I am 15 hours away from being 400 hours into.
Ugh, shut up.
Congrats. I don't know if that's praiseworthy, but
I am also coincidentally playing Three Houses. We just kind of converged.
you guys are disgusting.
We did not talk about playing Three Houses simultaneously together. We just hey, sounds fun. Let's play Three Houses.
It's kind of awful. It's fine. I just a few days ago, I was having a conversation with Des, and then I was like, "Hey, Des, guess what I'm doing? I'm playing Fire Emblem Three Houses again." And then I talked about how good the game was, and then I ended the conversation with God, I hate this game. I really wish I wasn't playing it.
The cycle of a Fire Emblem fan, loving and hating the game.
Fire Emblem is like that. I think most tactical strategy games are like that, where you start off oh man, this game is really good, and then you hate it, and then you love it again, and then you hate it again. I'm like that with XCOM.
It's 400 hours long. The story does not need 400 hours. It's such a stupidly broken game.
So you're saying that to a bunch of people who read Umineko cover to cover, and
No. Okay, so this
Yeah,
is
we're
my thought.
rereading Umineko.
This is my thought, Lorenzo. So the problem about Fire Emblem is that Fire Emblem is a 300-hour game, but if it's just or 400 hours, I guess, but if it was just written in a way that's just a novel, a Umineko format, it would probably be less than 100 hours.
Yeah.
There's not that much plot going on. But
Gotcha.
The reason I have 400 hours is the amount of time I have lost in maps in which I have died.
Oh yeah, you accidentally lost one unit after 20 rounds, and you're wow, I guess I feel like shit now.
No, I get it. I am also a safe scummer.
Do you not use Divine Pulse? Because I have way too many Divine Pulse to know what
Because
to do
you're
with.
playing on easy mode.
I'm playing on hard, which is not
That's
easy mode.
easy.
It's basically what
Okay,
should
before-
be the normal mode for the game.
I'm going.
Well, enough tree houses in this house.
Yeah, before we, start a screaming match, we're gonna move on. Sorry to cut the convo short.
Damn it.
It's been all right. I mentioned that, well, in the previous recording that we were going to X, that I got a huge-ass gaming chair, and now I got a big old gaming microphone, so I'm basically all set.
Ooh, what microphone do you have?
I have a blue, or I guess it's a black Yeti. So all I need to complete my gamer setup is a gaming bucket, and I never have to get up from my seat ever again.
I thought it was.
Oh man, I have a blue Yeti microphone.
Oh,
Nice.
Yeah.
Oh, cool. We're better than all of you.
More like Pooh Yeti.
Yeah, and we sound amazing. I don't know. I think I sound amazing, but I'm not. I'm not on the receiving end of my microphone. But
Well, I think I sound amazing, and I use my phone's microphone.
I got my microphone for like $8.
Yeah, and it shows. Sorry, just kidding.
Wow. Let's just dunk on everybody's mic quality and their voices. So
Right. Anyways.
I mean, we started this recording, before we even started recording, you guys were making fun that I just sound like some Black Ops, like, child screaming into a microphone.
Yes.
you did.
It was a whole
So
act. Anyways, Mushroom, how's your life been going? Your 2021 life been going?
2021, so far nothing. I've been watching a lot of television with my roommate because there's not much happening. The place I live supposedly should have like plenty of snow, like snow that's like an intimidating amount, but it has been pretty warm, which is kind of concerning because earlier this year we were snowing until like May, which is not good. So I feel like that's what's gonna happen now.
Oh boy, amazing.
Yeah.
Yay, environment.
I know,
whatever.
environment. That's exactly. Every time I get into a call with anybody, we just like bitch about the weather, basically.
Nice.
I have no reason to bitch about the weather. My weather's been fine.
Oh, okay, well.
Like at most we get like a thunderstorm every now and then.
Great for you. It's okay. No. Just
Hey,
kidding.
but I have to worry about tornadoes. Tornadoes are fucking awful.
I like how
It's just
everybody's
spinny wind.
everybody's description of their weather is just like slightly doxing each other.
Yo,
Right.
I just want to quickly say that as someone that is not from America, like when I was young, one of the only pieces of information I had about America is that you guys had tornadoes, and I was like, how the fuck do people live there?
We do. Like, I'm glad I don't live like in Oklahoma because like they get so many tornadoes. It's bad.
They get so many tornadoes, it's bad, as opposed to they get so many tornadoes, it's good.
It's like 'cause we get tornadoes, but like usually it just goes around everything. But like in Oklahoma, like I don't know, if you have a house, there's tornadoes coming right at it at some point.
Ugh, yikes. Well, glad we're not there, I suppose. Anyways,
Yeah.
Yensid, how are you doing? How's your 2021 life?
Doing pretty good. I got a Sega Genesis Mini for Christmas, which I immediately hacked.
All right.
And I asked my friend, like, is it good to hack, because I knew that he, like, did a lot with his SNES Classic, and he said, yeah, it seems like it's just an SNES Classic. Oh, also, I composed the music for the hack run. I'm just like, what?
Oh, nice. Wow, your friends...
So if you download Project Lunar on it, the menu music is just a song my friend composed. So that was weird. Anyway, I downloaded Hakchi.
Nice. By the way, FBI agent who is listening in on this call, we're doing
fuck!
totally legal things.
Okay, it's like when someone says they've done drugs and they're just like, I didn't. It was all satire.
Yeah. Like all this is like fake. We don't even know who he is. Who Ian
Right.
is.
Done drugs
a
in a
bot.
video game, just no real life drugs.
Is this hacking like that you did on your SNES Classic? Is that the start of all this weird like anti-piracy memes that are going around? Or have you guys seen those?
Yeah, I saw those.
Oh, okay.
Anyways, of the games that I've been playing on my Genesis Mini, I started playing Wonder Boy and Monster World, and which is like this kind of proto-Metroidvania, Zelda 2-ish type thing. But I looked at the fucking series release order, and holy fuck, is it a mess? Like, okay, so the first game is Wonder Boy, which was ported to actually become Adventure Island, which became its own thing. And then there was a sequel, Wonder Boy in Monsterland. and then Wonder Boy 3 Monster Lair, and then Wonder Boy 3 The Dragon's Trap, which was an
What?
entirely different game in a different genre, because the first Wonder Boy 3 was a side-scrolling shooter, while the second Wonder Boy 3 is like a Zelda 2-ish type platformer RPG. And then the game after that is called Wonder Boy in Monster World, not to be confused with Wonder Boy in Monster Land, the second game, but the title for it in Japan is Wonder Boy 5 Monster World 3.
What?
Anyways, welcome to the Monster Boy Lore Podcast. We will be talking about the release order of Monster Boy.
It's like 5 fucking games, yet it approaches Kingdom Hearts levels of bullshit, and I can't get over that.
Well, welcome to
impressive.
Monster Boy Hell. In other words, we are going to go dive deep into Umineko Hell, if you guys do not mind.
Well, I have one more thing I want to share.
Oh my
Just like
god,
to-
Jansid, get your own show, bro.
Well, you guys were interrupting me with the... Okay, just real quick, so it's just been raining a lot today, and the roof's leaking, and I was in the bathroom, and then I just fucking hear next to me just like everything fall down, and then I just see parts of the ceiling fall down as my cat just plummets in from the ceiling and jump scaring me on the toilet, and then he just starts meowing in that I need help meow. So he's just stuck in the attic and jump scared me by breaking the ceiling in the bathroom.
Wow.
Wow.
So anyway, yeah, Umineko.
Didn't realize you were
Umineko.
you have a drop bear as a pet. But anyways, Umineko.
I know
I
it's
have
New
something
Year's,
to
but
say.
let's celebrate Halloween.
I have something to
Yeah.
say about Umineko. It's related to Umineko, I promise. So,
Yeah. Yeah, we're gonna
Death.
be talking stuff. As always, we will have a non-spoiler book club-like summary of episode 2. We'll tell you when to stop if you haven't read further than that point. And then afterwards, we will discuss what we think from the outside looking in now that we know the ins and outs of the mystery. But not yet. So please stick with us. Anyways, let's
anyways,
begin.
wait, I need to say something. Okay, so, listeners, as you know, I hadn't been reading Umineko, but now I am. I am rereading Umineko again. I had stopped after episode 1, but now I'm rereading it again. Yeah.
Yes,
So,
all right.
expect me to intervene many times.
Totally. Awesome. Great. Amazing.
He's gonna be like that actually guy.
Just
Be like, actually, that's not correct. That's not what happened.
Jesus.
Yes.
You're bringing up bad college memories, but that's for another time and place. Let's
Another
let's,
book
let's,
club introduction.
Let's talk about Umineko, I guess. Sounds
Yes.
good. All right,
Yes.
cool,
Yes. Let's
amazing.
go.
So the previous episode, we ended off on all of the siblings, all the adult siblings, that is, plus Beatrice in the chapel. Apparently, she has revealed something to them, and they're all saying that they believe in the legend of the Golden Witch. They've presumably been shown the gold that they've been searching for, the mythical 10 tons of gold, or at least some part of it. Anyways, we begin this recording episode. I don't know what to call this point in time. It's the next day on Rokenjima. It's nearing Halloween. Kinzo wakes up. He wonders which of his 6 pieces were being used in the first Twilight sacrifice, and that goes to show how much he cares about his family and close servants, I suppose, that are with him on the island. He just says, oh yeah, they're just like chess pieces. They're gone and done. The servants go and do their morning routine, and Shannon notices that in the dining room where the adults were discussing inheritance stuff, there is a note that says, look in the chapel. Oh, scary, spooky, mystery arousing, who knows. We cut to Genji collecting Rosa from her guest room to go to the chapel. There's a
Collecting Rosa?
collecting Rosa, I mean,
What an interesting choice of words, Lorenzo.
that's kind of,
Yeah, you gotta collect all the rosas so you can
Yeah.
so
if you collect
unlock,
100 Rosas, you get
yeah,
an extra
120
life.
you collect 120 rosas, you beat Super Rosa of 64.
Disgusting. Right. Rip to the Flash Rosa game where you have
Oh,
goodbye
Rest
Flash.
in peace. Rest in peace, Adobe Flash Player.
Anyways, we cut to Genji doing his thing with Rosa, collecting her, that is. They go to this chapel, which happens to be a huge-ass building a walk away from the mansion that nobody usually allowed in, right?
Yeah, okay, I have a question.
Yeah, go for it.
When I was reading this for the first time, and throughout my whole, I guess, playthrough of Umineko, I thought for sure the chapel was located in the front part of the island, like diagonally forming a triangle with the mansion and the staircase that we see at the beach at the entrance of the island.
What?
But
No,
now
it's-
reading, I'm just like, what? The chapel is on a grove behind the mansion?
Yeah,
You
it's a huge
didn't know that?
hidden
What?
mansion.
Yeah.
Long story short, there's this giant hidden building that's also on the island that nobody seems to like pay attention to until now, which is weird, right? Anyways, they meet up with Goda, Shannon, and Cannon, who are all there. The chapel has a big red magic circle painted on it, a la episode 1, except it also says Happy Halloween for Maria at the bottom of it. It spurs Rosa to check in on the kids. Sorry, not the kids and the siblings, but she wants to check on Maria and says, gather up my siblings. And the servants are saying, oh, we actually don't know where they are. They want to check inside the chapel, but they don't want to break open the door because it's Kinzo's sacred place. Rosa surmises that the envelope that Beatrice gave Maria has a key item in it. I mean, maybe it could be a key, perhaps. I don't know.
Key item.
Yeah. So she rushes over to Maria's bag, snatches her purse, and opens up the envelope. There's a key inside. They manage to get inside the chapel without breaking anything, and they find a body, or bodies. Bodies have been discovered.
Plenty of bodies.
No!
Danganronpa,
Yummy
anybody?
bodies.
Happy Halloween!
Yeah, so we find Kraus, Natsuhi, Eva, Hideyoshi, Rudolph, and Kyrie all found dead around an elementary school-ass Halloween party in the chapel. They're sliced open autopsy style with their guts stuffed with candy. Literally. Like, the CG has their intestines pouring out, and there's just a bunch of, sparkles and glitter sprinkled in it.
The
It's
perfect
really weird.
school Halloween party.
That
Yeah.
CG brought me to yet another realization that the door to the chapel is actually on the front part of the chapel, I guess, because for the longest time before reading this part I thought the door to the chapel was like to the side of the chapel.
No, this was like
What?
the main entrance. They opened
What
the door.
chapel?
And
Wait,
they're like,
why?
This seems to be a
Sorry.
reoccurring theme with me.
What chapel uses a side entrance?
We just have to like this.
At least in fiction.
First thing is, Umineko geography and like building doesn't actually make that much sense. So this is my problem about the chapel. So everybody has seen the chapel's outside CG, right? It doesn't necessarily.
That's exactly why. Yeah.
So like it doesn't necessarily have any like Christian geography or anything, and it kind of has like a more roundish ceiling. But like when you get inside of the chapel, you think the chapel should be pointy. Am I crazy? But like I think the chapel should be pointy if you see the interior of the chapel.
I think I get you.
See, maybe Kinzo has an exquisite taste in chapels.
I don't know if there are people out there who did this, but I kind of need a comprehensive map of like Rokkenjima because it like kind of doesn't make sense. And I think the manga does a better job with it because like the original VN is just like pictures taken, like that's just cobbled up pictures.
Yes.
But like also the manga scene for the body discovery, amazing, top tier scene, just like detailed,
Yeah.
beautiful.
Yeah, I mean, like, not to sound like a weirdo, but every time a death popped up in the VN, I just, like, immediately went to the manga to, like, see it all in gory detail, because I'm just like, yes, this is what I want! I'm like that meme where there's like, a dude looking through a window, and his
like,
shirt
yes,
says,
yes.
sickos, and he's like, yeah, yes! That's me.
On another random note, have everybody watched the scene in the anime version as well?
Oh, I've actually been watching the anime with a friend.
How-
Oh, yeah.
But we only just finished the first arc.
Yeah, just saying, pretty interesting. The blurring is actually like the worst part, they put like mosaics on the stomachs, and it looks way more disgusting because like it's just like blurred over.
Yeah, your imagination fills in the gaps. Well, speaking of which, the actual description of what Rosa comes across is actually pretty graphic because she gets like this omurice turkey PTSD, and she pukes and screams, and like all the onomatopoeias they put in the text is really amazing, including one that's like GYUIIIIIGUPAAA. I was gonna say, like, when I first read it, I sent a screenshot of that to my boyfriend, and he like sent a recording back. I'll link it into like this Twitter video, but he was basically singing out the onomatopoeias like I can't sing, but that's basically what he was doing. It was really like a whole experience. But I digress. It was a gruesome Halloween party, or gruesome Halloween party. Sorry, I'm just being weird now. But anyways, Rosa orders the servants to get Kinzo, call the police, get Nanjo to check on the bodies.
To collect Kinzo.
Yeah, and like Nanjo's gonna do anything but confirm that they're already dead. Rosa gets a little weird, and she looks back on the crime scene, and she calls all their deaths beautiful. I guess she didn't really care about her siblings. Who would have thought? The cousins go looking for everybody in the mansion. They wake up, and they go from the guest house to the mansion, and Battler mentions that he saw Rosa digging around Maria's purse, and now she's losing her shit about messing up the invitation to the Golden Land. Nanjo and Cannon and Goda come in to get them. They notice that it's an emergency. Or at least it seems pretty urgent because they're all hush-hush around Nanjo, and they all leave in a hurry. And everybody comes upon the chapel scene, and the kids lose their shit. And then we cut to Meta Battler.
Metal Beatrice.
Meta Knight, Meta Beatrice.
It's the part where you unlock after reading Umineko.
Right. Meta Battler. Like, we're playing it.
Meta Battler, the brother of post-ironic Battler.
Yeah,
Stop.
Modern Battler.
God. Pop Battler, R&B Battler. Anyways.
Rock Battler.
Disgusting. We cut to Battler yelling at Beatrice for the murder. She responds all troll-like, saying, okay, well, since you had to stick up your ass about not seeing the faces of the first previous episode Twilight, when everybody's faces were plowed off.
I went through all the trouble of making them visible this time.
Yes. Bitch. I took liberties, and now you can see them in their cold, dead eyes. You better dig around their guts to make sure they're dead. And a bunch of witch laughs and whatever.
Cackle, cackle, cackle.
So
I'm sure that candy's pretty yummy.
Right? Just like the gut candy that's like sprinkled all up in their open wounds.
There's probably some butterscotch in there. It looks like some butterscotch.
Disgusting. Beatrice is being an annoying mega bitch about everything, and Battler's threatening to throttle her. It's a little kinky, but
What isn't conversation with them kinky?
Right. Battler's like, I'm not crying, you're crying. And we cut back to the Rokenjima world, where Goda reports that all the phone lines are down. He can't really reach the police. And Jessica blames this 19th person Beatrice and goes to her room to fuck her up. And Battler's like, who? Maria goes, bruh, she's here and she's ready to mess shit up.
Basically, Maria's like response to Battler at that scene is just like, Battler, you ignorant slut. Like, do you not know who Beatrice is, you dumb bitch? Like, it's just so good. Like,
right? And then Rosa just slaps the shit out of her afterwards.
Yo, wait. Now that you've mentioned that, I just have to mention this phrase that Maria fucking Ushiromiya said on the part we covered, like, on the previous episode. But I just have to say it now, because this kid said to Butler, Butler was denying the witch, and she was like, you finished your proof without any evidence or basis. Now there's a typical case of the ignorant willingly ignoring the shallowness of their own knowledge, a reckless suspension of thought. A fucking 10-year-old. What the fuck?
She's a neckbeard, that's what she is. It's disgusting and deplorable, and she's almost on the same level as Satoko Hojo, but that's a discussion for another time.
Lorenzo.
Hey.
Lorenzo.
I can't take this Satoko hate anymore. I don't want to talk about it.
Yeah.
I'll fight you
Stop
another time.
pushing your anti-Satoko agenda into this podcast.
This is an Umineko podcast.
Right. Like anybody else on the internet, I hate children, but that is a discussion for another time, like I said.
Base.
And Rosa, like, you know, she does a solid and slaps the shit out of Maria afterwards. Sorry, no, I don't know if you want to keep that in and make me sound like I'm like a child.
Yeah,
hater,
you
but
hate kids so much, Lorenzo.
I do a little bit, kind of.
We're gonna isolate that audio.
I also definitely have an anti-child agenda.
You can just cut the rest of this episode and like put up my saying I hate kids out of context as the book club episode 7.
Hey Des, can you send me when you're editing this the I hate kids lines?
Just to hold something against me, whatever.
It's fine. It's fine, Lorenzo. It's like that time when we start talking about furries and Baltotress. Like, we just have to keep it now.
I know it's a meme within our recordings from now on.
Yes, you told me you talked about Balto on the episode. I made a thumbnail about Balto, and then I listened to the episode and you talked about Balto for like 1 minute.
Oh.
Yeah, thank you.
The whole
You're
point
welcome.
is because we like talked about it too much in the beginning, and it was just bad. Like before the recording started.
Right.
It's like our ramen is pasta thing, where like we only talked about it for like 2 minutes, but it was the whole thing about the episode of our watch along episode.
That's the worst opinion I've ever heard, but I will continue. So, Battler's all in a tizzy because he's like, wait, what? There's a 19th person? And Maria's like, yes, there is. And he mentions how ever since he went to sleep and woke up, and if you go back to previously in the episode, that shows you Battler basically went into a comatose in-between state where he connects with his meta self viewing Rokenjima, and he's like...
Yo, that is so weird. Like,
Yeah,
the first time reading this, I was so confused as to like is he like controlling the other battler? Is he not? Can he like the fuck?
Right. It's really strange because at sometimes it definitely feels like he's controlling himself, a la his peace self. We'll get into that later. But at other times it feels like he's like an independent entity of his meta self. It sounds really confusing.
Yeah.
It's a whole mess, but
I
stick
think
with it.
Ryukishi himself wasn't like sure what to do at this
Yeah,
point.
and there's a lot of
Right.
weird moments where, like, I would say, like, in the coming part of this and the past part, where Maria just starts talking to Battler, like she's supposed to be a mouthpiece of like Beatrice, and then she just be like, "You're a stupid person. Do you understand how chess works?" And then Battler's like, and then Peace Battler's like, "What the fuck are you talking about?" Like the utter confusion is like pretty funny.
Right. And as a reader, you're like, what the hell is this 10-year-old rambling about in the first place? Battler mentions how like everything got weird ever since he doesn't actually say his meta self merged with his Rokenjima self, but that's basically what happened. Beatrice came, shit started getting weird. They find another letter in the chapel, and Beatrice, I can't really be consistent on that. But she's like, Yokoso Jappery Park, bitches. I'm collecting Kinzo's wealth with interest. Dun, dun, dun. Unless somebody figures out what the hell my epitaph means. And,
Like that's ever gonna happen.
right. And again, referring back to the previous episode, episode 1, they received a similar letter where they receive a threatening letter from the culprit saying that I'm going to kill everybody else unless somebody solves this riddle. Everybody's in a tizzy about it. These cousins, the cousins who came across their dead parents, they also notice that there's a bar of gold on the table that Beatrice presumably showed the adult siblings.
3 of them. 3 bars of gold.
Yeah, 3 bars of gold.
Now, I'm rereading it again. Yeah.
Yes,
So,
all right.
expect me to intervene many times.
Totally. Awesome. Great. Amazing.
He's gonna be like that actually guy.
Just
Be like, actually that's not correct. That's not what happened.
Jesus.
Yes. 3 of them. 3 bars of
Yeah,
gold.
3 bars of gold. And they imagine the implications of the full amount of gold stacked up somewhere on the islands. They're like, oh, this legendary gold is real, I guess. Battler's like, boo, you whore. My parents were worth at least 3 money. And Maria says, hurry the fuck up and let me into your golden land, Beatrice. We cut to Goda and Cannon chasing Jessica to Beatrice's room to keep her from ripping her face off. She demands the servants to open up the keys with the VIP room with their master keys, and the room is empty save for a note that says, Jessica, you ho, did you really think I'd be here? You're not intellectual like me. It was very neckbeardy the way that the note was written, but I digress.
I would say the note is actually very interestingly worded. It's different. It's a very different tone from every other letter that's written, but it's basically like, you're too stupid, you're like dumb, and now your parents are dead, fuck you, like basically like that.
Like, honestly, it was such a scathing note. It was like one of the meanest things I've ever seen happen in this story. Not the murders, but that note.
Yeah, no, that's my favorite part of the, like, let me just read this part of this note because it's just so good. It just says,
Go for
Did
it.
you think I waste my time waiting comfortably in this place for you to barge in here? You're too wild to be suitable for this intellectual night. What kind of faces your parents must be having, raising you to be such a harmless fool? Yeah, I saw them. They had perfectly stupid faces, just like you. Now they're in Candyland with their bellies are full. And I'm like,
Like, Jesus, go off, I guess.
I love Candyland, the board game. That's a fine board game.
Yeah, right.
Who the hell likes Candyland? There's no, you don't play it. It just plays itself.
Yeah.
Candyland.
There's so much strategy.
Candyland is not a game you play. The Candyland plays you.
The only way you could have a good game of Candyland if it's like a fucking kaiji match.
Candyland is like the communist board game, okay?
Everybody wins.
Everybody, like, it all depends on how you draw.
You know why it's... Do you know why it's designed like this? Why it's so, like, mindless? It's because it's for children. Hi, I'm Lorenzo and I hate kids.
One day we're gonna all have taglines of our own, and Lorenzo's gonna be, hello, I'm Lorenzo, I hate kids. That's it.
They ruined Candyland for us adults. How could they? But, anyways...
They never have quotes, that's it.
Right. Anyways, Jessica reads that absolutely scathing note and goes buck wild and breaks all the shit in the room, breaks down and has an asthma attack. Cannon to the rescue, gives Jessica her asthma medication. He tells Goda to get out of here, and Goda's like, oh yeah, I know how it is with you young people. I'll leave you alone in this room after we found like 6 dead bodies.
God will leave you.
I will leave these children alone in a room.
He always, bro, this man always says, he doesn't say I, he says, God.
Yeah.
Bro.
I, Goda, will abandon these children when there is a murderer afoot, but because I believe in romance.
Because Goda also hates kids.
Right? Yes. He's my guy. Well, Cannon... Right? Yes. Perfect. Anyways, he's out of the picture. Cannon consoles Jessica. She tells him that she needs to do a good cry because obviously her parents died. And Cannon's like, okay, bye. And then has a mini internal monologue that's like,
it's not
maybe
like
I
that,
should
Lorenzo.
have.
Don't do Cannon dirty like that. What he did was actually pretty sensitive. It was very well thought. He was like, okay, you need your space, but I will be right here outside of the door in case you need anything. Fuck you,
Okay,
Lorenzo.
well, here's the thing. This is kind of like an implicit like gesture that she was like, the way it felt to Jessica, someone who just lost her parents, it was like, okay, bye, I'm just gonna like, leave the room and let you cry by yourself. And then Cannon's
I
like,
know she really wanted Cannon to be there with her,
Right.
but it isn't. But come on, Cannon was trying to be considerate. Come on, don't do him dirty like
To be
that.
fair, there's also a murderer going around.
yeah, I agree with Horse. He should have like stuck around, at least be inside the room. Just give her like space. Don't like try to initiate conversation, but like at least like be a shoulder to cry on. And then Cannon leaves the room and he's like,
Cannon is having a lot of problems. Like, Cannon, at this point, Cannon is, like, regretting a lot of decisions. Like, Cannon's like, oh, shit, like, 2 years ago, like, Beatrice came to me and was like, hey, do you want to hook up with Jessica? And he was like, vehemently, no, I'm a good boy. And and basically, Beatrice was like, you're lost. Like, if you, like, your sister Shannon had, like, took up like my offer, and look at how happy she is. And now
she ended up with a cuck
like,
lord.
yeah, basically, like, Cannon's like, oh, like, I really like Milady, but like I'm also just a furniture. But also now I have feelings that I don't know how to deal with.
Yeah,
And like I don't even
because
know how
like
to process them. How could I help like Jessica process them? So then like he was just like, to ignore all of that, let's just stand outside and pretend none of this happened. It's very awkward.
adding to what you said, Mushroom, canon, this man distanced himself for like so many years just because he didn't want, because like his furniture, he can't. It's forbidden love. Let's just say that. So it's safer for both of them if they don't get involved. So Canon was being such a diligent person, and then in the end, he's the one who gets fucked over, whilst Shannon was like putting herself at such a great risk, and then in the end, she has the audacity to tell Beato, like on the previous night, to tell Beato like, yo, I know you made all of this happen because you wanted to feed on like my hopes being completely shattered, but joke's on you, I actually took the forbidden fruit, but I had no hope, so joke's on you, Beato, you aren't gonna fill your stomach today. So like imagine Canon being like all day looking at his sister like, oh my god, Shannon, what did you do? But then in the end, she's fine and Kanon's the one who gets fucked over.
Yeah, that's very true. Let's keep on going, and then we can talk about what a fucking karma moment this. Like, what kind of ironic moment this is? Because, like, I mean, Canon was warned by like Beatrice to be like, hey, you know how like Shannon and George is hooking up, like they might be the pair, they might die, like that's kind of bad. And then Cannon's like, oh, please don't kill them, just like, and then he keeps trying to warn Shannon because he thinks like Shannon's gonna be the one who's gonna get killed,
right? And like just like a off-topic note, I was looking through the Steam trading cards for each of these characters, and George is worth more than Jessica, so Shannon really won this one above Cannon. But I digress.
Wow, using this
I know. People have bad taste.
George is more valuable on the marketplace of ideas.
That means he's more rare, so George is hard to find. So
yeah, I hate that. I hate that for everybody. George is worthless. But anyways, so after all that, Cannon leaves the room for Jessica to cry by herself, and he's like, maybe I should have stayed. Oh, whoops, I wouldn't know. I'm a dumbass chair. And then Beatrice appears before him and goes, yeah, you fucked up and betrayed Jessica's hopes, you goddamn Ottoman. Anyways, you look close. Guess what the next sacrifice is supposed to be? Hint! The second Twilight is supposed to rip apart the two who are close. Cannon goes, no, it's not us. It can't be like, we're not like that. But Beatrice says, oh yeah, bitch, watch me, and teleports to Jessica's room where he hears a loud, distressed scream. Cannon happens upon Beatrice and Jessica in Jessica's room. She's being tormented by golden butterflies. She's having like the worst asthma attack of her life. And Cannon goes, I'll save you. But Beatrice drops a giant Baragoat on them. And Cannon fights it to the death with his cool ass magic Wolverine claw sword hand thing.
Yo, it looks so good. I love that sword. Oh my god.
He just happens to have it, like everything. I guess the magic was kind of a hint that some weird shit was going to happen. But he summons an energy sword from his hand, and it's presumably because Kinzo's furniture, aka the orphans he raises, are his pieces, and they're all imbued with magic. It's all sorts of wild and crazy, but that's not even like the tip of the iceberg here regarding magic. Cannon goes out for Beatrice after killing the goat, but she teleports behind him anime style with her butterflies, and Jessica stands up for Cannon as Beatrice starts berating him and calling him furniture. And Cannon's knees buckle for a little bit. What? Sorry, what?
Kagu Kano.
Yeah, and she's like, sorry, no, Jessica says, he's not a piece of furniture, and Cannon's like, oh, Jessica, I can't believe you said that, and his heart wavers for a second. Beatrice summons and sticks Osmodius and anime schoolgirl number 5 on Cannon. She turns into a giant bouncy steak. Not like a meat steak, but like a steak for killing vampires. And it bounces around the room and kills Jessica. Wild. Who's trying to protect Cannon. She intercepts the steak and it stabs her in the back. And Beatrice sticks anime schoolgirl number 2 on Cannon and gets crunchitized into a steak as well and kills Cannon.
Oh no, he isn't Cannon anymore.
Right. Canon and Jessica are having their final words. He almost says his name, but doesn't. But he does say he became a human. Beatrice says, "Don't make me laugh, ho," and uses her magic to spirit away Canon's body. So what does that mean? I don't know. We're about to find out.
Yo, about this fight scene, first thing is, it just looks junky as hell, just being that stupid as Canon sprite. Like a slideshow on Microsoft PowerPoint.
Right?
But
like being clicked and dragged around, just around the screen.
yeah. And yeah, it also doesn't help that my computer is so shit that, even that fucking slideshow was lagging. So it made it exponentially
The
funnier.
slideshow was a slideshow.
It was action-packed, frame by frame, 2 frames per second. It was wild. Amazing, impressionable.
Yes, this is the kind of equipment in which I edit
What
episodes.
version of Umineko are you reading? Because, I read Umineko Project, which had better effect.
Steam with the Witch Hunter patch.
With the PS3 sprites?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because I played it on my computer and it kind of lagged. I think the way it's written kind of uses up a lot of hard drive space. I don't know computers, but I think it just does that because of the way it is. That sounds like a weird cop out way of saying it was programmed funny, but
I wrote Umineko Project on my tablet, and it ran great, except for the fact that every couple of hours it'd just fucking crash. So I had to keep saving frequently.
That's
Nice.
really funny.
Oh man. The other thing I wanted to discuss is, because I distinctively remember 2 words that this fight scene had over and over again, and now rereading it, I haven't read it once in the whole fight scene. And it's stupid because I know for sure I read it here because it was the first time I came across the word. So it got marked in my head. So, the words I'm referring to is the words used to describe Canon's attacks. So it's Loki and Locus. I think that's how you pronounce it. It's like a curve.
What?
loci and locus.
Okay,
Like-
loci and locus then.
Yeah,
Yes.
he brought in calculus, a bunch of math metaphors
Because
into
I
Umineko.
have
distinctively
no clue
remember
what these words
the
are.
attacks being described with those words, but now they're described with curves.
Yeah,
Does anyone
math.
else remember reading that with loci and locus?
I
I
think
mean,
that's the
probably.
Witch Hunt translation.
Ah.
I think depends on as in I forgot, I don't remember which version you're reading. Are you reading the Steam version?
Uh-huh.
Is this
With the patch.
But Steam version with the patch only patches in the PS3 sprites. It doesn't patch in the old translations. So yeah, a funny story. Recently, I'm helping my friend reading the Steam version, and there was a part that he didn't understand what the translation was. So then when I was checking the Let's Play, the archive, which is amazing, I noticed that the translation is different. So then I realized there's a lot of difference between the Witch Hunt and the Steam version of translation.
I see.
So maybe that's where you're having a problem with the death.
Yeah,
Yeah,
but
that explains a lot.
again, math metaphors abound. But anyways, Canon gets killed and his body disappears. What does that mean? We cut to Shannon reporting the sacrifices to the chapel sacrifices to Kinzo, and he says, "Okay, cool. The game between me and Beatrice is starting. Here, Shannon, help me draft my will." It all started when I met Beatrice after the war, and then we cut away from that. Again, we just jump all over the place when we read Umineko, but we're back at the chapel. Goda reports to Rosa about leaving Canon with Jessica, and everybody decides to, get the hell out of the chapel away from the bodies. Battler can't suss anything out anything out from the crime scene except that he can see everybody's faces, like he asked for in the previous chapter. They notice that the magic circle painted on the chapel, Maria explains it, mentions the sacrifice of Thanksgiving in the name of the Lord, and George thinks that the Happy Halloween for Maria appended message might be blasphemy against God via the Virgin Mary. And I previously mentioned this, but it might be long gone. But speaking of the Virgin Mary, I wanted to plug a copy pasta a bunch of friends and I made about the Feast of the Immaculate Conception. If you don't mind me just dishing
Go
out
ahead.
some of the poetry, straight up poetry we came up with. Let me see if I can find it because it's like kind of lost.
Post it again so that we can read along.
Okay.
I'll have it
Sorry.
on screen, listeners.
You guys know those slutty copy pastas that you get around the holidays where it's like a bunch of emojis and they just say, "Hey, what's up, sluts? Get your holes plugged if you send this to like 30 people," right? No?
Sure.
Am I in the minority? So a bunch of friends and I were like, what's a holiday we can make one about? And we so happened to come across the Feast of the Immaculate Conception, and it wrote itself. I will basically recite this as a bonus to you all listening to me, whether you like it or not. In the name of the Daddy, the Sub, and the Holy Host, penis be with you. Come, all ye faithful, joyful, and triumphant. Today is the day that Jehovah witnessed his most ascended slut Mary get concepted with no sin, and the day we become sinful bitches. So bust open that dirty, nasty tabernacle full of toys and let's stain those sheets with all that festive fuckery. Get down on your knees and pray for that dick. Send this to 12 dick down disciples and you won't have a silent night tonight. If you get 0 back, you'll be a crusty, nusty virgin like Mary. If you get 4 back, you'll get a taste of that Jesus jism. If you get 8 back, then your pussy popes severely. But if you get all 12 back, you'll be canonized as a slutty saint. Now get out there and feast on that immaculate conception. Sorry, I had to plug that because we spent a whole month working on it.
Thank you.
Anyway,
But-
Umineko.
Wow.
Anyways.
Let's clap. guys.
Umineko, am I right? Blasphemy.
Yeah, that was. We have to congratulate creativity.
Thank you. So George was saying this whole magic circle in front of the crime scene of their dead parents was blasphemy against God. We straight up one-upped them, I'd like to think. Anyways, Battler asks Rosa about this whole chapel's significance, especially because of the circumstances of the deaths, and Rosa tells him that she doesn't really know that it's just that it's Kinzo's special place and nobody but the servants on their occasional cleaning go inside. It seems kind of suspicious since it's like a huge building that's just out of the way, and Kinzo bothers to take care of it meticulously take care of it. George points out that there's English writing above the entrance archway. It says something along the lines of, in English, this door is opened only at the probability of, and they don't actually say what comes afterwards, but it's really cleverly hidden that it's some large number. The way it's indicated is super sneaky because George just mentions the initials of the number names in English. He's like, I think it goes M to the B, M to the B,
Yep.
M to the B, B to T to
M
Q.
to the B to the M to the B to the Y to the C.
Yeah.
To the
But
C
he just
or
starts
to the
rapping.
Q.
He's basically saying, I think it goes from million to billion to trillion to quadrillion, but it's written in a way where
See, it's a Q, not a C.
right. Maria's like, you dumbasses can't even read English. And we don't get any more hints. You just know that the door is opened to the probability of some large number. They try to figure out the significance of the chapel. Maybe it's symbolic of Kinzo's love and dedication to his mistress Beatrice, and he's waiting on a miracle of her returning so he can marry her. And Rosa notices that the key that she used to get into the chapel is the only one that can access it. And starts to think, now how did 6 bodies get in there and lock? How did the culprit manage to get 6 bodies inside of there and lock it when Maria had it sealed in an envelope the entire time since the previous day? It's a closed room.
Spoopy. Yo, I
Wild.
had such like this was so spooky the first time I read it.
Right.
Like, oh my god.
You're just like, they don't call this a horror visual novel for nothing.
I
Am
know,
right?
right? Like, bruh, like horror anime / visual novel / manga, they can't entice terror in me. But this
Yeah.
type of shit, oh my fucking god, this was spooky.
Yeah, no, I get it. It's really weird how that happens. And then we cut to Meta Battler racking his brain over it. And Beatrice is telling them that it was easily explained by magic. You know, just a cop-out, just take everything at face value. And this is where we actually get to see our first real battle of wits. And I think at this point a really banger track comes up. Do you recall what it was?
Yes, on the previous recording, my dumb ass called it. I said it was Prison Strip, which is completely wrong. It's Dread of the Grave.
Yeah, that's
Dread
Dread
of
of
the
the
Grave.
Grave. It's Balor's thinking music.
Yes, it's amazing. It's great.
Thinking music.
Yeah, no.
Yes.
If you are interested, to go on YouTube to read the comments of Umineko OSC, which is something I do for
I always
fun.
do. It's amazing.
The comments range from like comments that are made in like 2011 up to like today, and then people write funniest shit underneath it. But
Yeah.
was it called the Dread of the Grave has hilarious comments about Battler thinking emoji.
I'll have to go check that out. I always check the comments. Like, comments on music on YouTube are like the golden hidden vault.
Oh, also,
comments.
don't read it if you have not finished yet. Only read
Oh,
the
yeah,
comments
yeah.
if you finish all of Umineko. I would have to say, Umineko is the kind of thing where you see the YouTube videos and it has like maybe like 25k like likes or 25k views, and then there's like 60 comments, and they're all just arguing with each other, and it's like pure spoiler.
Yeah, so stay away. See you in 150 hours until you can start reading those comments.
Yep.
Sorry. But yeah, we get to see our first real battle of wits, Phoenix Wright style. Battler suggests that the chapel isn't a closed room and that there's a hidden door somewhere, a la the Devil's Proof. If you don't show me that there's no hidden door, then you can't say that it was...
If you can't prove the non-existence of something, essentially.
Right, so as long as you don't show me that there's not a hidden door, you can't say that there wasn't, right? Which is like totally fallible logic, but it works in the world of Umineko, you know? Because it could have, if you can say that magic was used to kill everybody, who's to say that there isn't a hidden door? But Beatrice refutes and says that the front entrance was used to let people and or bodies inside, and call her Dua Lipa because she's busting out some new rules. It's the red text, everyone.
Hooray!
Oh, it's finally
It's
here.
kind of weird to think about this, but there's a lot of things that I think it's extremely integral to Umineko as a story that comes so much later than I think it does. Like, you don't see Beatrice until the end of EP1. You don't even see the red text until, like, now, which is, like, you're already halfway through EP2. That's a long,
Right.
like, that's a long time, you know?
Like 20 hours in, right?
I will use this opportunity to get into the argument that I almost got into on the text chat with you, Mushroom, because I'm the opposite way around. You say there are like integral parts of Umineko that you haven't realized when we appear until so many hours in, while I didn't realize there were so many parts of Umineko that I think are integral and very extensive that come so early on and aren't as spread out as I initially thought. And like the examples I can give are like fuck. I should have said this on the spoiler part. Well, I'll cut this part out. I am done.
I don't think those two opinions are mutually exclusive though, because like the integral things you're saying about the earlier episode or episode 1 is like the things that are deeper that you wouldn't realize, whereas the things that come later that are integral are like the surface level structural things.
Now, I'll go back to it on the spoiler part
Okay.
Yeah.
so that we can actually have this discussion. Maybe we should actually stop covering this part here, because like we're almost at the hour mark.
Oh, yeah, sure. I mean, there's tons to unpack here already, but
Yeah.
so if you haven't read past the introduction of red text, which I actually think this is a good stopping point, don't listen further because we're about to ruin the rest of the story for you. Otherwise,
Oh,
if you...
yeah.
Yeah? You gonna say?
Oh, yeah. I was just about to ruin everything if you don't.
Right, yeah, exactly. we're about to deconstruct Umineko from an outsider's perspective now that we know all the mysteries. So thank you very much for sticking with us.
Yep.
Happy reading. Keep reading. It's a great story. Everything's about to start steamrolling over the next 140 hours. But stick with it because it's amazing. So
You're going to be so confused, but so happy at the same time.
Yeah. Don't stop reading. Don't stop thinking.
yes,
Exactly.
see cats, do crimes, and see you later.
And don't do
non-readers.
anything stupid.
Yeah. See you next time. And for those who want to listen to spoiler discussions, stick around. We're about to jump into that. All right. Are you ready to talk about spoilers?
Yes.
I'm just wondering, do the fucking non-spoiler chats, the non-spoiler talks usually last that long? Because I felt like that lasted particularly long.
Yeah, I think it's going to get edited down, but yeah.
Yeah.
Felt like
It's
forever.
like, I
Should
remember
be
that it's just taking like 25 to 30 minutes for the non-spoiler parts, but like, this is a fucking hour already.
That goes to show how dense this part is.
I guess we argued a lot about this already. We were like, oh, like, wouldn't it be saying that we didn't cover enough? And now we, like, literally stopped right at the part we thought wasn't gonna be enough.
Right. So it was enough. Perfect. Awesome. Amazing.
What 5 hosts does to a podcast.
Shut up.
It'd be like that. But
Okay.
yeah.
Fuck. So, what I was trying to say was that, you see, the magic agenda, let's call it that, Umineko tries to put you into, like, the whole legend of how Rokenjima on its old days had these evil spirits, and then there was, like, this priest that put a shrine there to prevent that, and then now Beato is trapped, even though her magic is different kind of magic, because there's Western magic and not Western magic. I forgot the antonym for Western. Eastern. And like all of that shit about how like Beato's fake backstory, because Beato actually isn't real, kind of slightly. Like that whole thing, like for me that was the entirety of the answer arcs, and now come to find out it's only half of the answer arcs.
I meant question arcs. I'm dumb, and I always confuse the two.
It also comes back to the same thing, to where when you think about Beato is an integral part of Umineko, but when you actually think about it, she's only there for the question arcs.
Yeah. Yeah, I think like that's you and I's like disagreement on this has a lot to do with what we remember from question and answer arc. For example, like I rarely ever read a question arc. Like whenever I read Umineko, I start from EP5 and I just read to the end. So like to me, characters like Gap and Vigilia actually doesn't even show up. Like they don't really show up in EP. Or they're not integral to EP5 onwards, like answer arc. But like I really thought like Maria, like Witch Maria shows up way earlier. Like Witch Maria, like Lambda Delta, Gap, like even the stakes, I thought they were like would have showed up so much earlier. Like I was like, you don't even have rules. Like you don't even have rules for Umineko. Like when you get like we're gonna get to it next time, but like you don't even get red rules, like red text right now, like right after this. And then even after you get red text, you don't even get blue text.
Yeah.
And I'm like it's just kind of like I understand that that's how the story is told, but like you don't actually get that much viable things to like understand Umineko until like at least all your tools
Until you're in deep.
like EP3.
Yeah. Okay, adding to what you're defending, that like it depends on what you remember. Now that I think about it, I took like 2 whole months to finish episode 1 and like a whole month to finish episode 2, and then I read the rest of the episode so fucking quickly that what you said actually makes sense, because like half of my time reading Umineko was episode 1 and 2, so it makes sense that half of what I think is integral part of half of the story of Umineko actually in reality only happened on episode 1 and 2. So Mushroom, you have solved my mystery. Thank you.
Okay, I'm glad. That's good.
Nice.
Well, there's actually a lot more in this episode that we should talk about besides that, I say.
Yes.
Yeah, totally. Like the whole first Twilight being super, I mean, I wouldn't say obvious, but like now that we just know that Rosa and the servants were in on it, like that whole scene, like what can you believe? Because they straight up did it, first of all. But like the way the story is framed, they really bury the lead, like It just seems like they happened upon a locked chapel, and they don't know how 6 people got killed.
Okay, so
Like-
we are going to establish this, right? Like, since there's no detective in that scene, somebody probably already had the chapel key, and then they just claimed that they got the chapel key from Maria's letter, right?
No, we
Yeah.
can't do that because Butler does notice Rosa go into the room, you know? So what I would say happened, the way I
From
would...
the beginning of the question arcs, I think Battler's supposed to be perceived as the true perspective in the question.
Yes.
Yes.
Yep.
So so he's like the detective POV, which means everything he sees is absolutely did happen. So like, what about this? Like, Rosa still went to the room to get the keys, but she just went to get an empty letter, like a letter that had nothing in it, and then she claimed that there was a key inside because there's no indication if there, like, Maria never said that there was like seemed to be an object in there, so like they could claim that there's anything in it. Like, Ballard never touched that envelope before, so he doesn't know what's in it.
Yep, that makes sense. See, I went around trying to find out a way to explain this, and like, it makes sense, but your explanation also makes sense and is much more easier. So, by Occam's razor, I declare your explanation the true one.
Wait, I mean, what was your explanation?
It was just that, you know, Beato decided she wanted Rosa to be the culprit this time, so on the previous day she did all of that whole thing with Maria and Rosa. But since it is stated that Rosa felt sleepy and went to her room earlier, then Saya would have to call Rosa in the morning. Saya would, and like maybe Genji and shit, like do the whole shenanigan with the corpses, and then when Rosa would wake up, Sayo would tell Rosa about the plan. And so, you know, Rosa would come to the chapel, Sayo would tell her everything about what Rosa would have to do and all of that. And then Sayo would be like, yo, you need the key to make this narrative work. So Rosa would have to go back and get the key. But you see, it isn't necessary for the key to be there, only for the envelope to be snatched away, so that, you know, the truth could be convoluted. You know, so your explanation does fit my explanation.
Yeah.
Sorry, I wanted to cut in and say that just to throw a wrench in all of the things, there's a red truth that comes up later that says that the envelope in Maria's bag had the genuine chapel key in it. So if you were thinking that there was like a blank envelope thrown in there to throw everyone off.
So that's an interesting red truth. Then we have to say, like, was the envelope ever like exchanged? Like, you could say, like, as in,
No, there's a red truth that says, holy shit. Yeah, there's a red truth that says that the envelope never left Maria's possession or something.
Okay, but the explanation that I reached when I was trying to solve things was, I like looked at that line of, from the time Maria received her key to the instant Rosa unsealed the envelope the next day. I was just like, okay, it said the next day. It didn't say that moment at the chapel, so she just opened it, like, after midnight. And then put it back. And then I just hear, oh no, the door was just never locked. I was just like, fuck off.
Oh, true.
Yeah.
True.
Right.
Okay,
Yep.
that's real dumb. That's what I hate about. That's really.
See, that's what I meant. It was quote unquote obvious, but also really like stupid when it comes to like revealing the truth.
Dumb.
I also really liked how Rosa, there's that line that Rosa thought that like her dead siblings and their spouses was like beautiful, because obviously she's in on it and she's like, I'm gonna get all the gold to myself, but just like what is it? She's like spitting on their graves, you know. She like really hated her siblings and totally agreed to murder all of them.
Yeah, you know.
Yeah. I just think it's so stupid. Why is Goda also a culprit on this one? What is Goda doing there?
He's just a guy.
I mean, is
He's just there.
Goda in on it, or is Goda just confused?
He has to be. He has to be because of one sentence Rosa says. Rosa, after finding the corpses, she orders Shannon and Genji to go to the study, and Kanon and Goda and Kanon to go call the police. And so if Rosa, like the way the golden truth works is that everyone has to agree that was what happened. So like if Rosa is addressing Shannon and Kanon separately, and both of them
front
are
of Goda,
there,
yeah.
then Goda has to agree that Shannon and Kanon are different people. So Goda has to be in on it.
Yeah.
They probably just bought off Goda. I feel like that's not hard.
No, I don't think they bought him off. They threatened him. They told
I
like
told them to get away from kids.
like you either do what
Get kids
we
away from
say, or you're dead, bro. So like gotta.
That's very true. I don't even think Sayo would go through the trouble of buying off Goda because Sayo's probably thinking about how they're gonna kill Goda anyway.
Right.
Yeah, and also because Goda, if Goda had been bought off and then the merger started happening, Goda, as soon as he found himself in a position of equal strength, he would change sides. So Saya would have to tell him, yo, there's a bomb, and if you don't do what I say and kill me, the bomb's gonna still go off. So don't you think about changing sides?
So is that all the discussion you guys wanted to talk about for the first Twilight?
Yeah, for the first Twilight, I guess, yes.
Yeah, sure. And then I guess by the natural sequence of things, we can go on to the in-between part where Jessica and Canon are set up together. It's very, now that you know what happens, and I was being completely stupid and totally believed that Canon's body was like spirited away, but now that we know that obviously they killed Jessica and like locked the room with their Shannon/Canon key and like left one of their own keys in the room, it's like,
it
duh,
really
of course.
sucks. It really, really sucks. Like, I think there's nothing more upsetting to go back to read Umineko knowing what actually happened, because that scene is just awful. Because not only it's a scene where like Canon's like, I'm so sorry, milady, I can't reciprocate the love you have for me. Like, Canon's also just killing Jessica.
Yeah, right?
Like, that's the
You know what's even more messed up? What if instead of killing Jessica, because that would be so much trouble, what if Canon just literally let Jessica die of asthma?
Oh, yeah.
Because she was having an asthma attack.
That's very true. I was gonna mention this, but then I didn't realize to like where to interject. But Canon never
Wait,
gave
I thought she didn't
Jessica
actually have asthma or something.
What?
I thought, wasn't it said later that she doesn't actually have asthma, or is it just extremely
Yeah,
like
sometimes she fakes
exaggerated?
it, but it was it could very well have been the cause of death.
Yeah, because Canon never gave Jessica a inhaler or anything. Like it was never explicitly said in the text. He just said like, oh, he should have gotten her something, but now he's just
No, it is stated. I'm pretty sure it is. It says like Canon handed Jessica her bronchodilator.
bronchodilator.
Yes.
So it did happen? Okay, then. That's good. I mean, it's just kind of a really weird scene. Like, I mean, it sucks. Like, it really sucks when you know what's actually happening.
Totally, especially with Beatrice like taunting Canon. He's like, "Oh, you're just furniture. You'll do exactly what I say." And he's like, "No, I love her." And then it ends up the way it ends up, and Canon decides to carry out the rest of the plan. It's all sorts of fun.
Yeah, and this is also a very significant part because this is the part where like within Shannon and Canon's love, Shannon won because Shannon decides to go on, and that's why Canon was so freaked out, because Canon knew he's gonna die, because that's the whole point of like this, like
The Golden
just
Lands.
sucks.
Yeah. But also, again, Jessica is worth less on the Steam marketplace than George, so
Oh
he's
my God,
probably
Lorenzo.
pissed off about that too.
Okay, what is your problem with like George being more worth it than freaking
Because
Jessica?
Well, because George is a
trash.
cuckold. Yes, he's the worst. God.
Wait,
That's why he's really rare, because no one wants him.
No, everyone wants him.
People
That's why
will-
he's rare.
Can I just go through some of the topics I have here, because I have a lot.
My cat just stole a cake wrapper off of my desk.
How?
I have no idea. I was gonna eat that, but now I'm not.
What the fuck's a cake wrapper?
I mean, like a cake. It was like one of those little Debbie like cakes. I was gonna eat one after the podcast, but now my cat's gonna eat it.
I like the implication that you were going to eat the wrapper. It's like, oh, damn, I was going to eat that wrapper. My cake wrapper.
Hey,
But yeah,
she's just chewing at the plastic.
totally. But Des, you're going to bring up some talking points?
Yes, I have many things I want to discuss about this chunk. For example, on
Still.
the VIP room, when Jessica is just saying how much she wants to absolutely tear Beato's face apart. And like,
In front of Canon.
even though Sayo was the one who provoked that with the letter, like, can you just imagine how Sayo must have felt there?
Right. I
Must
mean,
have
I
been
guess
so
she
crushing.
doesn't. I guess they don't really care about Jessica if they're so hell-bent on carrying out this plan, you know? They really
Yeah, it
lost their
almost
minds.
kind of sucks. Like, if you think about it, like, also the letter is written in a way that's for, like, it's making fun of the person who's like, oh, you're dumb face, you're like too stupid, you're not intelligent, and it's supposed to be it's supposed to be written for the whoever is going to be the first one to read this letter. Like, wasn't like written to a specific person, but I mean, like, how do I say? Like, that letter wouldn't make that much sense to George, I guess, like, or to like people like Maria. So like I feel like even though like it's stated in the text that like anybody of the cousins could have read this, like I feel like it was kind of targeted to Jessica.
Right.
Because it's written like Jessica's like weaknesses, and like that's really
Well, you could
fucked
also
up.
say that Canon was carrying around 3 letters. Whoever went there to check the VIP room, and then when it ended up being Jessica, and when she wasn't looking, Canon just placed the letter there.
Drop the
Oh,
tailor-made
true.
Jessica letter. I like that. That makes it extra spicy.
Yeah,
like,
that makes
canon.
it extra spicy. I do.
They
agree.
wrote 3 letters just to have the most scathing impact on whoever came across it. Sick, disgusting.
That's
Love it.
Alright.
that's really tough.
Moving on
I mean-
to the sorry, go ahead, Lorenzo.
I was gonna say they murdered an entire family, so
True.
I don't know. They're already pretty gone, but go ahead. Next topic.
So, on the scene where Canon and Beato are talking, just before Canon rushes into Jessica's room, so Beato says, quote, "There are 3 ways to hurt a woman. One is with a blade, the other is in her heart, and the other is by betraying her expectations." And then an hour later or something, or like an hour, yeah, I think about an hour later, Batora literally, on the confrontation with Beato, says, "I don't hurt them," referring to women, "and I never betray a woman's expectations."
Lol. Lol.
Yeah. Oops.
Oh well. Okay, now about Jessica and Canon dying. I think Jessica dying before Canon telling her his name may represent that Sayo never actually revealed the truth to Jessica before killing her.
I like
So, like-
that too. I also like how it's probably it's a less personal murder, a more cold murder. You know, like you don't even get to know who you were into's real name because I don't care about you that much. Or like you said, they never revealed it out of the.
I think it's more like Sayo must have been like, "Oh fuck, if I actually tell her what's going on, then maybe I won't be able to kill her. So fuck it, I'ma just kill her."
And also
Gotcha.
on another note of that, I think is interesting is that like let's not say anything of like despite of everybody really likes Jessica or Jessica's a great character or anything, like it is very blatantly stated in Sayo, like Beatrice's note to Jessica, that like basically Jessica's flaw is that she's a dumb bitch. Like it's like she's just not intelligent enough, and like that is pretty funny, and I feel like that has a lot to do with why Sayo never actually even like begins to tell Jessica what's this whole deal, because she just doesn't think Jessica's smart enough to fucking figure this shit out anyway. So she just
Same
I
thing with
think,
Natsuhi,
I think
too.
Sayo did. I think Sayo did, and her expectations were completely crushed. And the reason I say I think Sayo did hope for Jessica to solve it is because, like, when, like, on the previous part, like the part with previous, fucking hell, the chunk we covered on the last episodes, when Jessica starts saying, like, "Hey, Canon, you can, like, create a different canon for when you need to deal with certain stuff." And then the way Canon reacts, it just comes across to me as Sayo being like, "Holy shit, I think Jessica may actually be able to comprehend me." And so it's,
Oh, like she's onto something.
it's so painful because you know she's not. But fuck, Sayo really hoped for it. And I can totally see Sayo being like, "Holy shit, it's actually happening. Is someone finally gonna understand me?" And then at the end, fucking hell.
Yeah, I was also going to say that.
Sorry, continue.
Okay, I was also going to say like the person that Sayo was planning on being too stupid to figure everything out, a la the forgeries, is that Natsuhi's also written as like someone who's like the last to know things. There was like this one scene later in like I think episode 6 or 7 where they're doing where they're like solving a riddle around the table, and Natsuhi's just confidently incorrect about like multiple riddles. It's just like, oh, okay, so this is what they think about Natsuhi. And also like the Kraus keeping the secret of the gold from her the whole time. He's like, oh, you're just too dumb and emotional and also a woman to like understand anything. That's like the whole vibe that Natsuhi's character like seems to be written off as, which sucks because I like her a lot.
I love Natsuhi, man. Natsuhi's so
they just, I know, but everyone just seems to dunk on her.
Well, I guess that makes sense because, like, after all, like, Natsuhi, like, Cross is the most dumb, least smart out of all 4 of the siblings, and then, like, Natsuhi's not a smart cookie, and then they just gave birth to Jessica, which I feel bad for. Like, I'm not saying that like this is all worth it and Jessica deserves to die, but like it's really upsetting to think like, and also like on like out of anything, like Jessica technically speaking did have the most access to solve the epitaph. Like she also fucking lived on the island every day. She could read the fucking epitaph. Like,
but she also didn't care that much. I also wanted to say that out of all the PS3 sprites, is it just me or is like Jessica's eye just slightly off? You know, like it just seems like her left eye is just like off of her face, and it bothered me the entire time. But
referring to Jessica's PS3 sprite, I haven't noticed that. But one thing I have noticed is that, you know how some characters in Umineko have a sprite in which they're sideways. Jessica sideways just looks like a dog. It looks like she has a dog mouth.
A dog mouth?
That like.
What's the sideways sprite?
Like
maybe it's because she has her hand on her mouth, but it just looks like she has a dog nose.
A dog nose? God.
Like
well,
that
Are you
dog
calling
anatomy.
Jessica a dog?
No, she has the dog anatomy.
Shut up.
Wow. Des.
Man, we were talking about how stupid she was, and now we're calling her a dog. You know, her Ryukishi sprite's actually pretty good. It's just, I don't know what happened when they made her her PS3 one. But anyways,
do you want to know something interesting I realized about Nanjo? Nanjo, whenever he, intervenes when people are theorizing, Nanjo always gives the correct answers. Like, when he's fucking questioned about whether Kinzo had a mistress, he just says, yeah, Kinzo had a mistress. And like,
of course he knew about that. Yeah, that's true.
Is it possible for that mistress and Kinzo to have had a child? And he's like, yeah, that is possible. And also, like, when they're theorizing, like, we'll get into this part on the next episode, but like when they're theorizing about why the fuck these murders keep happening in a way that's, very easy to find out who it was once the police arrives. Nanjo literally, not in response to anyone, Nanjo literally just says, it's inconceivable for the culprit to make such scenes without taking into account that it would give the police some big hints. So like, Nanjo is out here giving the answers. Just goes to show you that Sayo really wanted someone, to find out what was going on and allowed Nanjo to say all of this.
Right.
And now
Well, because Nanjo knows the whole truth, doesn't he?
Yes, he knows. But I just think it's really interesting that Nanjo literally gives the answers away. And sorry, Lorenzo, go on.
I was going to say it's important for the reader to know that these sorts of hints get dropped off, including the one where Kinzo's writing his will and he says that he met Beatrice after the war. Like, that comes up way later. And, like, it's so insignificant, but, like, once that part in the story came, I was like, oh, yeah, that's right. That sort of thing was mentioned. So I think Nanjo's, like, just, spilling all these truths just to make sure the reader's, like, not thrown a curveball or
I guess
like all the answers aren't from left field.
Now that I think about it, Would, like, the closeness of Nanjo to Kinzo have anything to do with him just telling the truth about his friend?
Wait, who's friends? Oh, you mean Kinzo saying, or Nanjo saying his friend was Kinzo? No. What the fuck am I saying? You're saying that Kinzo and Nanjo were just friends? They definitely weren't. You know, those chessboard matches were also.
No,
they were
Nanjo,
boning.
not Genji.
Genji. Oh, maybe all of them. You know, they're all nasty. They were having lemon parties on
They're like
Rikijima
it's
every
like a
day.
gay polycule or something. Is that what they're called?
Yeah, lemon parties.
What
Anyways,
is a polycue?
How would you describe a polycule, Lorenzo?
orgy.
Yeah, polycule is like, it's just like it's like polygamy, I guess. It's a good, I don't know, orgy. Like, I feel like it's a joke
Yeah.
when they're like, "Hey, would you want to join our lesbian polycule?" Like, that's where I always hear the joke from. That's why I think about that word.
Yeah.
Anyway, not
But yeah,
important.
okay.
They're
Not
all
that
discussing old men. They all killed their own family. I'm getting completely off track, but any other talking points?
Yes, going back. Okay, so like, because all of this I said about Nanjo is actually to come to a conclusion. I just want to present you with even more evidence, because Nanjo literally says that I believe Ginzo said something like, perhaps someday I too will be able to receive a blessing there, referring to the chapel. So like, even Nanjo even essentially gives away the location of where the epitaph is supposed to be applied. But anyway, where I want to get with this is that, in a way, like, Nanjo is Verugilya, because he's leading butler to Beatrice, which is what Virgilius does to Dante. So like, just like Kumasawa, you know, leads Sayo to Beato, Nanjo leads Batra to Beato. So I would say Verugilya isn't Kumasawa, but actually an amalgamation of Kumasawa and Nanjo.
You know, that's really interesting, but I do like Gap, Nanjo and Gap outfit theory, you know? Nah? No, I totally agree that Virgilia is the amalgamation of, like, the outside influences of Sayo, like the non-related influences, I guess.
Yeah, because Kumasawa, you know, taught her magic. So she essentially led Sayo to Beato. But you know, if you go by this thing that I said about Nanjo is also Vergilya. So, well, Jens, you were saying?
Okay, I was just gonna, wanted to talk about my friend's Umineko experience right now. Fine? Okay, so he's, just finished, also this friend is, for those long-time podcast listeners, he was, the person who I was wanting to be a member for the Higurashi Log as a blind member before we were like, oh wait, this is a sequel. But anyway, he just finished episode 4, and at the end of episode 3, he told me you know, I've been thinking, and I think that Kinzo might not exist, and that he's getting burnt to hide his decomposition. And I was like, how do I fucking respond to this? I'm just gonna be quiet.
You just say, think harder. Explain with magic.
So like that. Now he finished episode 4, and he's just really fucking shocked that he was just completely on the money.
Yeah, that's really funny.
Although he was doing it for the same, like, but then there could be another person, which is like also on the same line of logic as the VN, even if it ended up not being it. Also, I've been watching the Umineko anime with him, and it's so fucking funny to watch with a friend. Like,
We should totally have it like a Umineko anime watch party, or we should do podcasts of it, because it's really funny and I really want people to enjoy it with me.
like
Whenever we
Okay, like,
finish,
if
whenever
I
we
was,
finish book club.
if I was watching
That's
the
like,
Umineko
years
anime,
ago.
like, by myself, I'd just be like, yeah, this is bad, but watching it with a friend, we're just laughing so fucking hard at all the mistakes and shitty adaptation choices, and also just how badly it's animated. Like, holy shit. Also, Nanjo specifically is almost always off model and looks so bad. Like, where's his goddamn neck in this image?
He has no neck. He didn't have a neck on the visual novel either.
It's canon. Najo does not have a neck, okay?
No neck,
That's just
Manjo.
part of the canon. Because who needs necks when you're an awesome doctor?
It's just so confusing. I mean, the anime, I don't know of you guys, but I did watch the anime first, and that's what got me into Umineko in the first place. So I do have to thank Umineko for that, like the anime for that one reason. But it's honestly pretty hilariously trash, and it's just very confusing. It's not the best.
Yeah, we were just like, always just thinking like, with the fucking pacing, we were just so baffled by the pacing and just thinking like, how the fuck would we be following this if we were watching this as its own thing? Like, when Maria was fucking doing the rose scene 5 minutes into the first episode and Money talking the first minute of the 10th episode, we were like, holy shit, what the fuck is this speed? This is like a recap episode. But that's just the show, normally.
It's kind of difficult that way.
I know people who've only watched the anime and were like just satisfied with that. Like,
How do you be satisfied with it? It doesn't even fucking end.
I was watching a stream, and one of the comments on one of the streams, I was watching the stream of one of our fellow hosts, D, and like she was talking about Umineko for like a minute, and like one of the commenters on that stream was like, "Oh man, I should really watch Umineko again," and like I had to just be like, "Don't watch Umineko." Why would you do that?
I think I might have been on that same stream because I like just commented on them saying watch.
That's so
Yeah.
Also, on a really random note, Horse, but some like cadences, I feel like your voice sounds a lot like Dee's voice, and that kind of messed with my brain.
How?
Does it?
What? Okay, Mushroom. Mushroom.
Like, I've been compared to Red Erratic, but not D.
Really?
No, Mushroom, do you want to know what I compared
How
Horsegame's
does he
voice to
sound
the
like
other day?
D?
And like, he completely, like, did not agree with me? Mushroom, would you not say, and also Yancy did not agree, would you not say that Horsegame sounds a lot like the gatekeeper from Fire Emblem Three Houses?
What? Oh wait. Okay. Say there's nothing to report today.
There's nothing to report today.
Oh my god.
No, you have to say, no, Horsegame, you have to say, greetings, Professor, nothing to report.
Greeting, Professor. Nothing to report.
Holy shit,
God.
you're his voice actor.
This is where I reveal I was the gatekeeper in Fire Emblem Fates. In the Fire Emblem 3 houses, not Fates. I don't even know the name of the game.
What if you were the gatekeeper in Fire Emblem Fates? Just cut roll.
I feel like one day we will have to make like a super cut of all of the podcasts where we just complain about Fire Emblem Three Houses, and that's just like a complete edit of just like, oh, like
It's gonna turn into Fire Emblem because like after I finish 3 houses, I'm gonna move on just to playing each game in order, starting with Fire Emblem 1.
You gotta start with Fire
I don't
Emblem
know
1.
Okay, first of all, don't do that. Second of all, let's go back to Umineko. This is getting way too sidetracked.
Are you also fucking about Fire Emblem cuts? Like, the last fucking episode we recorded in, like, we recorded the Furude Shrine, Hanyu Gate theory episode, in this, like, within the same 2 hour, within the same couple of hour span, but we fucking ended that episode with me making a crack theory that Fire Emblem Three Houses is actually Higurashi because it makes sense in context.
shut up. Okay, no. Okay.
Just leave it at that.
Before we
Let's
go
move on.
down, before we also have to end this episode on Fire Emblem.
Sorry, Mushroom, go.
No, Des, do you have any more notes that you want to talk about for?
Yes! I have 3 more notes.
Okay,
3 more.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Mushroom.
you're welcome.
So, like, One of them is really quick. It's just that I find it extremely interesting to read about Beato and Butler's confrontations, and then seeing how Beato responds to Butler in riddles, kinda giving him the answer but kinda not, and like me reading it before Beato speaks and responds to Butler, I think about how I'd respond to Butler, and then seeing how Beato responds. It's just really interesting to me. It's kind of like I'm learning from Beato. It's just kind of, it's interesting, I think. I find it very interesting. Does anyone else have the same, experience?
I think it's funny because I like reading the scenes between Balor and Beatrice because Balor's just basically whining and crying the whole time. It's like, I'm not gonna believe you. And then Beatrice is like, look at all this cool shit I have. And then he's like, I'm not even looking at you. And it's just really funny because I feel like they're definitely not on the same wavelength when you're on like reading EP2. Like Balor's basically just like disregarding everything she's saying like so far. So like it's funny, but it's also kind of frustrating because you're like, you guys are not talking about the same shit, guys.
Oh well. Okay, then moving on to my second last topic. So, when reading Butler's confrontation with Beato, so readers will obviously want to make their own questions for Beato, for Beato to answer in red. So, speaking for myself, I felt like Butler encapsulated correctly the kinds of questions I wanted to make Beato at that time. Not 100%, but very closely. So, from my perspective, I think Ryukishi succeeded, but I can see these scenes as something very hard to make, like to write about. Because Ryukishi literally had to think from what the readers would want to question Beato about, and write the scene around that.
Yeah, I remember going through the exact same line of logic as Battler for solving the moment to moment mystery before he even said it. So that has to definitely be a skill to be the exact same amount of mystery solving as the audience.
Yeah. Rikishi just he's writing picked with Umineko. I don't know what happened there. That man received a revelation from the goddess. A gift to help guide the lost. Huh? Three Houses references?
No.
Anyone?
No.
No.
Okay. So, as my last point, Butler finishes the confrontation with the following line. Parting remarks are a loser's privilege. Say as many as you like. Bruh. This man, oh my god, Butler, I love you. I found this so badass the first time around, and I still find it absolutely badass the second time around. Because, Beato loses the confrontation, then she's like, kako, I'll see you on the next round. Yo, Butler, man.
Did anyone else, when the Red Truth was first introduced in this episode, just have that thought of, alright, Umineko begins now?
At the ends of the... Yeah.
I feel like Umineko is the kind of fiction that you could read 40 hours in and still think, oh, the story just started.
Yeah, the first episode is just an entire visual novel of this, just this whole ass Agatha Christie murder mystery, and that's just the prologue.
I would say Umineko starts 4 times. It starts in episode 1 at the very start. It starts on this confrontation of episode 2 when the Red Truth is introduced. It starts when Angie is introduced.
Yes, absolutely.
Because this scene completely changes then, and then it starts again at the answer arcs.
Yes, I agree. I think for me, the best start out of all 4 of them is when you get to Angie. Introducing Angie completely is a game changer in my brain.
Yeah.
I think that's why EP4 holds a lot of people out of all the 4 EPs, the first 4 EPs, people really like EP3 a lot, but for me EP4 hits the money because you just read 20 hours of just Ancient being depressed at school and then spend the rest just being miserable on this fucking island. And then and I feel like everybody's just having a shit time. Beatrice is having a shit time. She doesn't even want to play this game anymore. Balor's having a shit time, and
yeah,
it's just rough.
So, random observation we had when we were watching the anime that I forgot to mention during it is that that Umineko, it's like you take for granted most murder mysteries that the people are just like pieces to get murdered or be suspects, but Umineko really fleshes all of the characters out first and foremost.
Mm-hmm.
And then the Umineko anime, they're just pieces to get murdered.
Yeah, it really sucks.
It's just for you to look up best Umineko death compilations or whatever, and you just like forget about it forever.
Yeah, it only exists to be like animated B-roll in a YouTube video about Umineko.
Like, the thing that I've seen in the anime was an image of, like, Maria's head on a platter. I still don't know what that's from. I have never
What?
seen
It's the Tea Party.
It's Tea Party,
Second episode.
EP2 Tea Party.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're going to get to that eventually. I was going to say the thing that got me into Umineko was Rosa's death scene on the fence, you know, when
Yes. When
in episode 3
spears her.
Yeah, well, no, Beatrice, no, Evatris was torturing them, and then Beatrice comes in and, like, you know, ends her, and I'm like, oh, hell yeah, and then I forgot about Umineko until last year, which reminds me, I started reading Umineko last year.
That's wild.
So did I.
Wow.
Oh, I read it in 2019.
Yeah, happy
Finished it in
anniversary.
2020.
Yeah.
I mean, it's
Umineko
kind of
anniversary.
intense. Like, I think, like, I watched Umineko when, like, I think, like, when Umineko... It wasn't when it first came out. Umineko came out 2009, I think, right?
Yes? Probably.
No, what the fuck am I
think
saying?
it
It
came
came out
out in
2012,
2009.
right? No, 2011? When did Umineko come out? Like,
No,
why am I
think-
having so...
I remember it said it was 2009. Let me fucking...
2007. Wait, 2007?
When did it air? Why am I having such,
Oh,
like...
you mean the anime?
Yeah.
The anime is
says,
2009. I'm
Yeah.
the only correct one.
Okay, so I didn't watch it in 2009. I probably watched it in like 2010, right after like it aired. And I remember watching like Higurashi first, and I was like, I really like the Higurashi anime. Like, I don't know how to say this, but like, I think Umineko is a horrible anime adaptation. But like, for me, Higurashi's anime was pretty good enough that I didn't have to, like, knowing how much like boring just like slice of life stuff is I think it's boring. I know there's a lot of Higurashi heads in here. I'm not gonna argue with you about that, but like,
I do think some of it is boring. But
And
like,
Satoko
not the
sucks.
stuff that they cut out. Like, the stuff that they cut out is fine, but they cut out way more than they should have.
You
I'm
think so?
always in the
Okay.
fucking... I'm
Yeah.
always in the fucking Higurashi episodes, and I think the slice of life is the most boring fucking shit in the universe.
Heresy.
I think slice of life can be good as long as it's done right. And I barely, because I have not seen that much slice of life anime, but like I've never seen a slice of life done very well. I've seen it done okay, where like it's entertaining, but I haven't seen it where like it's absolutely amazing.
I think that
Maybe it's just not your cup of tea.
the slice of life in the visual novel is actually like some of the scenes are actually done pretty well and entertaining, but there's just too fucking much. I was turning
Yeah,
my
I think-
brain off so hard.
I think like Higurashi, the reason why I still haven't read the VN, I read parts of the manga and I watched the anime. The reason I never read the VN is because I feel like Ryukishi's basically just like testing the water. He was writing this in 2006 or 2004 or something. He's
2002.
like
2002.
2002, so like he really hasn't hit his stride yet, and like it's a lot to do like subversion where he has to like pretend that this is like a normal story until like he gets to like pull out the murder. I feel like his writing got more airtight in Umineko. I feel like that's how I feel.
I think it got better in the answer arcs for Higurashi, except for like a few moments.
Yeah, the
And
pacing
like,
in it was felt like it got a lot better in the answer arc.
because chapter 6 was a really, really great chapter in the VN. I don't know how it is in the anime, but like it was really
What's chapter
good
6?
in the VN.
What happens in it?
That's
Sumihoroboshi.
It's Sumiroboshi.
It's Rena's arc.
Oh, that's a good arc.
By the way, we're not speaking about Umineko anymore, so could we just close the episode and then speak about Higurashi?
Oh my god, I'm so sorry. Okay, anyway, point of the story is Umineko anime bad.
Alrighty.
But wow,
Umineko
that's
anime
a
watch
really
now.
hot take. I need to cool off. That's I've never heard
Yeah.
anyone
I'm
say
gonna watch
that.
You know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna refute that argument.
Before we reach 2 hours, I'm going to have us sign off. So thank you very much for listening to our talk about Umineko. We'll see you next time for the 8th episode. See Cats Do Crimes. Catch you later. Anyone else want to sign
Yep.
off?
Bye bye.
No, I do not want to
Don't
sign
stop
off.
reading. Don't stop thinking.
Happy New Year's, people. I hope this comes out.
Always be horsing around.
Disgusting.